first met Juliana, and what drew you to each other?
I first met my wife, Juliana, years ago. We actually went to middle school together in Brazil, so we studied together in the same grade from 5th to 7th grade. And then at the end of the 7th grade, she went to a different school in the state of São Paulo, and I, with my family, moved to New York.
We officially met in Brazil in 5th grade, but I don't remember him until we met again in 2002. I had just moved to Orlando from Brazil, and we were at a church concert, a Christian concert at a church, and he approached me. I think he said my name. He says he doesn't, but he just came to me and we reconnected then.
I was surprised because I had moved down from New York to Orlando in '02 after I graduated from high school, and she had just moved from Brazil to Orlando in '02. But I saw her just out of the blue at an event at a local Brazilian church here in Orlando, and I recognized her, and I asked her, "Did you go to this and this school?" And she said, "Yes, I did." She didn't remember me. I remembered her. I didn't remember what her name was. I just remember her face.
I was in a phase in my life where I had just moved, never had a boyfriend, never had anyone in Brazil. I was 18, and when I met him, it was, oh my goodness, I already met a great guy. I was here in Orlando just for a week.
We had a very similar upbringing. We were both born and raised in the same city, actually in the same neighborhood. And, also her personality, we connected very well. We actually, before we got engaged, we dated for 3 years.
He was really kind, super attentive, and that's what attracted me to him.
And so then we just started talking, and then we ended up, dating, got engaged, got married, and now we have 2 kids.
Many times we have felt out of balance because we reach growth milestones separately. And I think when you're young, you think you can do it all, and you can for a while. That's what I've done. I've done it all to my standards, to what I wanted. Raising a family, creating an amazing business, homeschooling our kids, being extremely active at church, having friends, and being this wholesome person that I am. I truly believe I am. It takes a toll on you.
Each phase of your life comes with different challenges, right? Even when you're newlywed, you just got married, even though perhaps you don't have kids yet, right? It's the beginning of your marriage. There's always going to be a challenge because you're talking about 2 people who are different, and even if you share a similar background, you're trying to become one. That's what a marriage is, right? 2 becoming one.
I believe a great marriage is when you have a component of individual life, then you have your all-in-one together as a family. But it is important for you to maintain yourself. Am I all Juliana as the mom and the wife, or am I also Juliana outside and the business owner? So when those things fall out of whack, and when you think you're just the business owner or just the mom and just the wife, that's when things get complicated. So really what you have to find is harmony amongst all the buckets you juggle. The thought of homeschooling had always been in the back of our mind. That was I guess, not a challenge, but one of the biggest decisions we made with our children. They attended school for a little bit, and then we made the decision to pull them out and homeschool them. But while we made the decision, we both own separate businesses. We are avid churchgoers, so we have our church life very much occupied.
We've learned a lot over the years. Some challenges were more difficult than others, but we both are very focused individuals, very determined. So we've, by God's grace, we've been able to overcome all the challenges.
When doing all the things and wanting to strive and do the best that you can, you will have setbacks. You will fall. I've learned as a young lady, since I was little, I would say, when you get down, you get up, you wipe yourself down, and you just move on. But as I age, and now I'm 40, I realized that some things should be pondered on. You should have things that you maybe spend a little bit more time. If it's a huge failure, maybe just don't brush it off and move on to the next thing. Parents never told me you can't cry or you can't grieve. It was me who took that upon me. So I have to now allow myself to grieve some losses, to enjoy my successes. If you're putting your energy into one business venture and you need more energy that same day for something else, whatever it is, you won't have it if you deplete it during the day. Then it comes at night, you're exhausted, but you have to give energy because I have 2 children, I have a husband, I have a house to take care. So you really have, and I only realized that recently, that I don't have unlimited energy. And I thought I had limited energy for all my different buckets, but it was all 100%, but it's not. It's 100% that needs to be divided up into your different buckets. What is the norm? Like what? And I know that's, I'm not most people, I shouldn't measure myself or compare myself, but I should look in a 24-hour day. What are most people doing? Are they running the business, doing the homeschool, plus coming home, working out, cooking the fresh cooked meal? It's exhausting just saying it. So then you have to look realistically, what can I accomplish today? What is a healthy human individual can do? And I should be, even though there were some days that I finished the day and I think, oh my goodness, I could have done so much more. This day was not that full, but I have to leave that margin of safety that I never did. So now I'm learning that as well.
I've never thought about divorce, never thought about separation. You know, I've always had the mentality it doesn't matter how bad it gets, how, you know, kind of situation we're in. You know, we made vows, we made a commitment, we became one, so we're gonna get through whatever together. We can make it, right? Because you know, we're not alone either. You know, we believe that by God's grace, through faith, we are able to overcome the different difficulties, and we see them as blessings from God. That's how you grow, is through challenges. You don't go through doing things that are easy or that you love doing necessarily. It's when, you know, things get tough, you know, you grow.
I absolutely had moments where I thought I just want to quit. And I'm super prone to Rafael too. I would tell him in certain instances. And what I loved about him is because of the type of woman that I am, I'm not strong-willed, but I'm very strong as a whole. And he had to be firm with me sometimes and say, no, you're not quitting. No, this is not going to happen. We're not doing this.
When things get really difficult and you get into survival mode, the most important thing is communication, right? Because sometimes, you know, one spouse is gonna have more of a hard day than the other, right? Sometimes I'm more busy than she is, or vice versa. So we have to support each other in different ways. But the main thing is communication, because a lot of the times, you know, when you get into arguments, it's lack of communication, or you're not communicating, you know, in a good way, right? You're letting your feelings get in the way of just being rational and talking to each other. So focus on what you believe in. You know, set your priorities straight. You know, if you're married, you know, make sure you know, you're always dedicating time for your spouse. Of course, you always gonna love your kids too, but your spouse comes first above everything else, before your business, before your career, before your kids, right? You need to prioritize that. And you know, your guys are life partners, and you guys can, you know, build a business together, and your kids, your family, and above all else, faith in God.
We've been together for almost 22 years. So things become very routine and you know each other so much. they're no news. You know, you see character being developed, you see a person changing over the years, and that's the beauty. I love growing together with him at a young age, and just now being 40, how much we have changed. What can you do together and what can you enjoy together? Like the silly things, laugh together. And I find interest in the things that he likes. He finds interest in the things that I like. And that's what I think a partnership is most successful, when you have those things.
I believe partnership is, as a husband, you knowing your primary roles, right? As a wife too, right? You need to know your primary roles, and then you support each other in that regards. You know, we have common goals as a family, as a couple, but we have different primary responsibilities, and sometimes, we need to support more or less each other, right? So sometimes, some days she needs more help than others with the kids, and then sometimes, it's just the other way around. She needs to work more on her business, or I do. Once again, it's communication. It's talking through things, being in touch, and that's how you get through those tough patches.
Oh man, to define partnership today really is having common goals and common, um, just very similar interests. Number one value, most important to us, is to love God and to live a life that is according to the Bible. So that, to us, it's the biggest thing we pass on to our children. Having integrity is a big deal, and working hard. I love working hard and giving your best, whatever your best might be at that time. Faith to us is a huge deal. Integrity, working hard and having grit, having resilience, being a resilient person, and just being good, loving your neighbor, loving others, like showing how much you love people, through your actions, by being, and I love, like, we're very generous, like, with your time, with your money. You should be doing that. That's what we're called to do.
Number one is faith in God above all else, and having that mindset that, you know that everything that happens in your life, it's for your good and for a bigger purpose. So even if it's something that's difficult, seems hard, that you see as something that's bad, but it's for your growth. So we like to instill in our kids the values of ethics, hard work, respect for others, even people who think differently from us or look differently from us. We respect everybody, right? Having your affections rightly ordered, right? God, family, church, school or work, right? And then family, extended family, friends, neighbors. It's important to have your priorities set straight. Yeah, mainly principles and values. If you have those pretty hard and set in your life, then you can get through pretty much everything.
What I'm most proud of the life we have created together is our family. It gives me the greatest joy.
We see ourselves in our kids, and by God's grace, we've been able to raise them to be, great human beings, and we see the fruits of our labors most vividly on our kids. Sure, when building a business, if it becomes profitable and you're serving others, you see that, but there's nothing like seeing your children grow up to be wiser, stronger, and great people in general.
I would say for me, my biggest why is to be the best mom and wife that I can be. everything else follows. Because you need to have your order of values, like really what's number one, what's number two, what's number three. If you have that clear, I think it can really guide you in everything you do. If I can go back and tell my younger self something, a few things. Number one, don't don't keep thinking of the next best thing. Like, try to live in the present. And I know it's hard for a kid, even for an adult is difficult, but think about it now, what you're doing now, how can it be better now? Don't keep looking to the next moment. Just live now. And rest. Like, however you define rest, find the time to rest. I know there are different seasons in life, but you're always going to be busy. Always going to be busy. You never stop if you don't let yourself and allow yourself to stop. So I would say put rest. Every single day, find a time to rest. And sleeping is not rest. Sleeping is a necessity. It's a need. You must sleep in order to function well. So find rest. Truly, our legacy will be our kids, our grandchildren, and what we have imparted in them. Being amazing individuals and contributing to this world. If I was to think of a word for 2025, I think it would be healing. To me, that's a powerful word for 2025. And for 2026, I think it would be harvest. Like, I think it's healing, and then harvest will be 2026. Yeah.